Hi there, my name's David Smith. This is Meet the Leaders. Glad to have you sharing it with us and sharing one of our very favorite guests, Senator Carlo Leone of the 27th District. Stop it, Carlo, it's true, you know that. We are glad to have you with us, and I hope you've had a little bit of time to take off and recuperate from electioneering and so forth, and to brace yourself for a new session that'll be around in just, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks, something like that.
It's true, David, and thanks for having me. Time is always short in between the election period and then getting ready for the new session. So this is no different, but we're looking forward to some exciting new things in the future.
Well, we should say that during this period, you're not sitting around having grapes peeled for you, your feet up and so forth.
No.
You've got more meetings galore and so forth.
Yes.
With your partners in crime up there in Hartford to try and sort out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and when you're going to do whatever it is. And of course, the budget is that great something in the room that has been hanging around for 6 or 7 or 8 years, something like that, still not very well solved. And have you got optimistic thoughts as to being able to do something dramatic to change the way we deal with it?
Well, I'm always a little bit of an optimist in the sense that, to that question, I think so. We have a new governor who's willing to try things differently. You have new members in the General Assembly, both in the Senate and both in the House. So there'll be new ideas just as a reflection of that. So it'll sort of bring a new dynamic, and it'll give everyone a chance to sort of step back and reevaluate what really is crucial to the state of Connecticut, and the budget being first and foremost. That will then drive all the other issues that we have to deal with. So I think we're on solid footing in the sense that the economy has been slowly picking up. Connecticut's almost back to 100% of the jobs that were lost since 2008. We're not quite there yet, but we were last ones in, we'll be the last ones out, so that's been holding true. So we're moving in the right direction, and if we can just get the details necessary for the new budget, I think we'll be on solid footing.
We've been having population growth in southwestern Connecticut, which is interesting because people have been so concerned about the tax situation and this and that and the other thing, say, oh, everybody's leaving Connecticut. Well, they may be, but apparently they're not leaving southwestern Connecticut, or if they are, they're being replaced by other people. Correct. Now, the other people may not be paying as high a tax as some of those who are leaving, but body count seems to be going up to some extent.
And that body count is actually good for the state, right? So as new people come into the state, those are new taxpayers, those are new people who will start families, start careers, have a successful life, hopefully here until they're ready to retire. And all that bodes well for the state of Connecticut. And you're right, in southwestern Connecticut and in Stamford and in the greater region, we are growing. And because we have the economic footprint conducive to that, plus being nestled between New York and Boston, we have all the requirements to be successful. We just need to manage it in the right way. And with the new governor, new legislature, with some of the economic gains that we've made, I think we're positioned well. And case in point, when Amazon, just before they declared New York and Virginia as their new headquarters, the state of Connecticut had put their name into the ring, and we got a phone call back saying, you guys we were looking at you, you didn't have everything we needed, but we did like what you did have to offer. So that sort of bodes well. We could use that as a template going forward.
Maybe Google.
Maybe Google. Maybe. There's more to come, I'm sure.
That is for sure. Well, getting into the state and going through the state, of course, leads one to think of tolls, and tolls have been a bane of a lot of people's existence and a battleground for Republicans, Democrats, and others who just want them or don't want them along the way. Where did you come out on that?
Well, we've had to look, as chair of the Transportation Committee, sometimes you have to do more than what just you want to do. You have to reflect the whole state. And the whole state, we're the only ones not receiving any toll revenue. So as we go forward, and especially since the new governor coming in has stated that he would support truck-only tolls, considering that Rhode Island has done it, it's something that we probably should and will be looking at going forward. So if the votes are there, I don't see it not being able to pass, and that would be new revenues that would go solely into transportation, especially since we just passed the lockbox as an amendment question in the last election cycle.
Were the tolls to be, or it's going to have to be written that way, that the tolls go into that lockbox? Because the question is how do you get the stuff into the lockbox? It's great once it's in there, but the question is what gets in there and how much.
Right, it would be the full amount as far
Yeah.
as I'm concerned, and it goes into transportation because it is transportation revenue. So I don't even think you have to declare it, but if it eases people's minds, then so be it.
Yeah. That sounds positive. Now, we're waiting for Rhode Island to come through on that truck tolling thing, but you seem to think that could be a positive.
They'll probably appeal it in the courts, but I suspect in the end it could probably pass. And if that is true and holds up, then that opens the doors for us and any other state that would want to do something like that.
Speaking of doors that have been opened, Massachusetts and Rhode Island and looks like New York opening the doors to marijuana. What do you think?
Well, recreational marijuana has been proposed in the past. We were not quite ready for it since we have medical marijuana that's been quite successful. We had 4 bills last year in different committees. One of them was in my committee in general law. So we had proposed the legislation from the standpoint that if it were to pass, were we ready for it? And the short answer was we were not ready for it. So now that it is in surrounding states and we know it's coming, and we anticipated this, which is the reason why I had put the bill in, is to make sure that when it does come here, we would start getting up to speed on how would we manage it, how would we effectively do it in a way that is safe and positive and still takes into account the concerns for children and underage and so forth. So I suspect that's what we're going to be doing going forward, because now it is at our doorstep in the surrounding states. It doesn't make sense to then have people from Connecticut going to other states only to come back, and then we have to deal with the problems and the issues because it's unregulated
Without the
here.
benefits.
So let's have the regulation in the right way, make sure it's safe, minors don't get access, and then we can see if we can get it passed.
Senator Carlo Leone, it is always good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Always a pleasure, and I wish you the best of the holidays.
Well, and to you too, and we'll look forward to seeing you up in Hartford before
There you
too
go.
long.
Thank you.
And that is our program for today with State Senator Carlo Leone. For Meet the Leaders, I'm David Smith.